ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथस्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथस्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानधं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरम्
सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरम्
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
जन्तूनां नरजन्म दुर्लभमतः पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता
जन्तूनां
पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता
तस्माद्वैधिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम्।
तस्माद्वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम्।
आत्मानात्मविवेचनं स्वनुभवो ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः तेनो शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते।
शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्ये विना लभ्यते।
द्वितीय श्लोकस्य व्याख्यानम्। प्रथमश्लोकः मङ्गलश्लोकः, द्वितीयश्लोकः ग्रन्थस्य सारभूत श्लोकः। We have seen the Vyakyanam to the shloka. Here at the end of this Vyakyanam, some of the important points we can recollect. Jantunam Narajanma, Jantunam Janana Shilanam Praninam Narajanma Manushyatam Durlabham iti. Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham. This is number one, point number one. Acharya Shankara Bhagavad Pada, he said Jantuna Narajanma Durlabham. But in this Acharya here, the Chandrasekhar Bharati Tirtha Swamigal, in his commentary, he says that to the Narajanma, the Manushya Janma, the person who has taken Manushya Janma, to be an Astika, that is Durlabham. That is what is Suchitam, that is what is indicated. Atmanaha, Sharira Vytiriktaha, Atmanaha Asti iti, Yaha Vadati, Saha Astikaha. Therefore, Shastra Vyavahara Nidhanam Astikyam iti Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham iti Anena Suchitam. Shastra Vyavahara Nidhanam, that is Astikyam. Vyavahara, the actions of which are in keeping with the Shastra, the actions for the activities, the karma. Vyavahara means karma, for which the Karanam, the Hetu is Shastram. That is the Hetu, the Karanam for the Astikya. Therefore, among the Manushya Janma, Manushya Janma is Durlabham. Why? Because Manushya alone can perform karma, can observe karma of the Shastra, of the Vedas. That is why Narajanma Durlabham. Otherwise, Narajanma Durlabham is meaningless. If the person is not a Vedika, if the person doesn't follow the injunctions of the Shastra, no Shastram, then what is the use of this Manushya Janma? Manushya Janmana Kopi Kimapi Prayojanam Nasti. Therefore, Narajanma Durlabham, by saying that, Astikyam is Suchitam. Astikya Buddhihi Suchita. Tataha Pumstvam. Tataha Tasmat Pumstvam Durlabham. Then Tataha api Pumstvam Tato Viprata. The next one is Viprata. Acharya did not say here as it is the word Brahmana did not use, but he says Viprata iti. Viprata means the one who has studied, who has understood, who has mastered the Shastram, who has got all the Chaturdasha Vidya Sthanam. So that here the Acharya comments saying, Trivarnikanam Veda Adhikara Sattvapi Kshatriya Vaishyayoho Rajya Paripalana Krishyadi Rupanam Chitta Vikshepa Hetu Bhutanam Bhagya Vyaparanam Sattvat Aidampariyena Atma Vicharaha Durgataha. Even though the three Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, all these three Varnas have equal rights in studying the Shastram because of their occupation, because of the profession, Kshatriya and Vaishya. Kshatriya has got Rajya Paripalanam, Vaishya has got the profession of the Krishyadi Rupanam, agriculture, etc. That is, they are responsible for the economy of the society of the country. Therefore, they engage in a lot of activities, external activities. Therefore, Atma Vichara is difficult for them. Therefore, Brahma Vichara is possible only for Brahmana. Instead of saying that Viprata, Acharya says Viprata. Therefore, Viprata by that means the one who has dedicated himself exclusively to the study of Shastram, even from the childhood, being in the Patashala, studying and gaining the knowledge of the Shastram in general. ब्रह्मविचार साधन संन्यासस्य अनवकाशात् एकस्मिन्नेव जन्मनि ब्रह्म अधिगमः तयोः दुर्लभः तयोः क्षत्रियवैश्ययोः दुर्लभः. Because Brahma Vichara, for which the sadhanam is sannyasa, for that there is no scope for them because they are busy in they lead a busy life, busy in their activities. Therefore, for Kshatriya and Vaishya, since it is not possible to get moksha in a single janma, one janma, ekasmin janmani eva. Therefore, it is difficult for them. Therefore, dvijatvam iti anuktva. Having not said dvijatvam, Acharya says viprata. So viprata, the word indicates, therefore, indirectly, it is Brahmana because he doesn't have any other job other than committing oneself to exclusively to the study of Shastram. What job he has? Therefore, okay, it's viprata. Is viprata by viprata alone? Is viprata alone sufficient? No. Na kevalam viprataya labdavyam labhyate. What is to be gained is not gained only by viprata, by scholarship. Apitu tam labdva tad uchita dharmanushthanena eva iti bhavaha. By observing the dharma as ordained by the Shastram, the dharma anushtanam, dharma acharanam, that is important. By that only it is that labdavyam labhyate. What is to be gained is gained. And another important point here, Acharya said, that is the commentator points out, Acharya Shankara Bhagavad says Vaidika dharma marga parata natu Vaidika karma marga parata. Why he says? Because Vaidika karma marga parata iti anuktva. Having not said Vaidika karma marga parata in the shloka, Vaidika karma marga parata, Acharya did not say Vaidika dharma marga parata. Vaidika karma, dharma is karma. Then karma could have been used. No, but why? Because by using the word karma, what is intended to be conveyed, not fully conveyed. Therefore, he did not use the word karma, he uses the word dharma, because the word dharma has a bigger connotation than the karma. Dharma vyatiriktam kinchit sukha sadhanam dukkha nivritti sadhanam cha syat tat sadhana sampadanena sarvaha lokaha sarvada sukhi nivritta dukkascha syadeva. If suppose the word dharma is not mentioned, karma. Therefore, dharma vyatiriktam kinchit sukha sadhanam. Sadhanam, the means, that is karma, some karma, performing which the person can gain sukham, can remove dukkham. So therefore, dukkha nivritti sadhanam, sukha prapti sadhanam, that karma, dharma vyatiriktam karma, other than dharma, that is karma, not dharma. The word karma is used. By karma, the person could observe, follow the karma and then gain sukham and then avoid dukkham. so that all the people in the world can be sukhi, bhavati, possible, nivrta dukkascha, can be free from dukkha. But that sukha prapti or dukkha nivritti, that will be temporary because what is gained by karma is parichinnam. Karma being limited. Therefore, what is gained by karma is limited. Therefore, Nityanandaha, Nityanandaha is not gained by karma. Moksha is not gained. Freedom is not gained. We may gain sukham, and that sukham also lasts only for a short period of time. Therefore, and also by mentioning the word karma, another problem could arise. The entire Shastram, Tatparya of the Shastram is only karma, like what Mimamsaka says, Karmata says. Therefore, till morning, starting from morning till evening, the whole day only will be karma, 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 karmata. That is what karmatas do. For them, the Tatparya of the Shastram is karma. Do karma. Varieties of rituals. Karma being parichinnam, karma being limited. By limited, by limit something which is limited, you cannot gain the unlimited. So therefore, the word karma is used, which excludes Jnana Kanda of the Veda. Karmatas do not accept Jnana Kanda. For them, the entire Shastram is one Shastram. Eka Shastravadi, this Karmatas, Mimamsakas, Purva Mimamsakas. Whereas we are Shastra Dvayavadi. We divide the Shastram into two parts. Karma Shastram, that is Karma Kanda, Purva Bhaga, and Jnana Kanda, Vedanta. The scope of Karma Kanda is different. The scope of Jnana Kanda is different. By performing the karma which are enjoined in the Purva Bhaga of the Veda, that is Karma Kanda, one can gain dharma, artha, and kama. The three purusharthas are gainable. Moksha is not possible. Moksha is in the form of knowing the Swarupa of oneself. That is moksha. Moksha is possible only by jnanam. Therefore, the absolute freedom, moksha, is gained only by jnana kandam, which involves study of the shastram, study tavanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. If the word karma is used, then Vedanta, that jnana kanda of the Veda, is not covered. Therefore, Acharya uses the word dharma. Dharma, the word, encompasses the entire thing. Therefore, dharma, the word is used. Karma has got limitation. Dharma, the word do not have that limitation, doesn't have that limitation. Therefore, Acharya uses the word dharma marga parata. And also for dharma, what is the pramanam? Shastram is a pramanam. So therefore, Veda Vyatiriktasya Shabdasya Dharme Swataha Pramanatvat. There is no pramanam other than Shastram for dharma. So dharma can mean karma, or dharma can mean the tattvam. The tattvam. Tattvam is what is the reality of this jagat, reality of this jiva, the reality of this Ishvara. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. What is the tattvam? The knowledge of the reality. That also is covered by the word dharma. Therefore, dharma is better than karma. Karma has got limited connotation, whereas dharma do not have. It's free from such limitations. And also by using the word karma, what is to be conveyed is not completely conveyed. Therefore, dharma, the word is used. Now this dharma is of two types, pravritti dharma and nivritti dharma. And Acharya, interestingly, he says here, pravritti dharma, nivritti dharma. Pravritti is engaging in activities. Nivritti dharma is disengaging from activities. In other words, pravritti lakshana dharma is grihastha dharma, other than sannyasa ashrama. Nivritti lakshana dharma is sannyasa. Lokesmin dvividha nishta pura prokta mayanaha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Bhagavan very clearly said in the Gita. Bhagavan means Bhagavan Krishna. In the loka, in the world, two types of committed lifestyles were taught by me in the beginning, Pura. What are the two lifestyles? Karma yoga for karma yogis, that is grihasthas, we can take grihastha, brahmacharis, and vanaprastha. Karma yoga. And jnana yogena sankhyanam. Sankhyanam is sannyasina. For them, jnana yoga. They do not have karma. Their full-time job is only studying the Shastram. Shastra Shravanam. What Shastram? Jnana Kanda. Not to Veda Purva. Jnana Kanda of the Veda. Veda Purva is after knowing, you have to do it. By doing, you gain, and what you gain is limited. Whereas Jnana Kanda, it is about the knowledge of oneself. There is no doing involved. Because moksha is not by doing, it is only by knowing the reality of oneself. Na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amritatvamanshuhu. Tyage naike, by tyaga, by sannyasa, by renunciation. But tyaga meaning there, sannyasa, need not be literally sannyasa ashrama. A person can be in any ashrama, giving up the kartrutva buddhi, because that is what binds a jiva into samsara. And kartrutva buddhi tyaga, that is possible by shastra adhyayanam, knowing the truth of oneself. That can be done by any ashramis, but need not be a sannyasi. A person can be a brahmachari or grihastha or vanaprastha. So therefore, Vedanta Shravanam can be done by anyone. If it is sannyasi, then he declares to the world, he doesn't have any other obligation, no karma. For him, the only exclusive job is Shastra Adhyayanam only. Shastra Adhyayanam, Shravanam, Mananam, and contemplation on Atma Tattvam. That is the only thing, only job he has, nothing else. He is religiously is freed from all the obligatory duties. Veda itself religiously makes him free from performance of the obligatory duty, Nitya Naimittika Karma. He doesn't have to do Sandhya Vandanam, no Agnihotra, no other rituals, satellite rituals for him. When the main karma itself is not there, what about the satellite rituals? No other rituals, no ritual. So only Adhyayanam. Therefore, Pravritti Dharma, Nivritti Dharma. So Pravritti Dharma, if it is Pravritti Dharma, then Nitya Sukham is not possible because it is doing Kritena Karmana, Akritaha Mokshaha na labhyate. Karma is parichinna, limited. Therefore, by doing that which is infinite, that cannot be gained by doing, cannot be gained. Therefore, only jnanam apekshate. Therefore, tadartameva jnanakandaha. Jnanakandam. So therefore, Acharya here, he says, I have marked the important points. Dharmaha eva paramam sadhanam nitya sukha avaptau na anyat apeksham asti iti karma mimamsaha. Karma mimamsaha, they are committed to karma. Therefore, they say, for nitya sukham dharma eva sadhanam, that is karma alone. Karma meaning here karma. But what Vedanti says this Nitya Sukham is Atma Sukham, Swarupa Sukham, that cannot be gained by karma, that is only by jnanam, and jnanam, for that sannyasa ashrama is suitable because the person doesn't have any other obligation, no commitment, is completely available for himself, all the time is available for himself. Therefore, that is the Parama Purushartha Therefore, he says, Paramapurushartha sadhani bhuta brahma sakshatkara sadhana vedanta vichara hetutvena sannyasa rupa nivritti dharmasya. Therefore, only the person takes those, the nivritti dharma, sannyasa dharma, because moksha is brahma sakshatkara, that is moksha. Paramapurushartha is brahma sakshatkara, Paramapurushartha is moksha purushartha, for which the sadhanam is brahma sakshatkara, that is impossible by Vedanta Vichara, and for that, this Nivritti Dharma, that is Sannyasa Ashrama. Therefore, Tat Sadhana Vairagya Hetu Bhuta Chitta Shuddhi Hetutvena. The Nivritti Dharma, Sannyasa Dharma is not possible unless a person has gained sufficient maturity, Antakarana Shuddhi. The person is relatively free, available, should be available for himself. So, therefore, Chitta Shuddhi, all those things, that is Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samanam, and Tivra Mokshutvam, all these things are required. Therefore, Nishkama Karma Anushtana Rupa, Pravati Dharma Secha, Prekshitatvam, Natu, Saksha, Niratishaya, Sukha Sadhanatvam, Tadubayasya, iti Suchitam. So for Jnana Yogyata, to arrive at Jnana Kanda, Jnana Yogyata is required. For Jnana Yogyata, the person has to be a Karma Yogi, Pravati Dharma, Nishkama, Karma Anushtana, Pravati Dharma. Therefore, Pravati Dharma cannot lead a person to moksha. What can lead a person to moksha is Nivritti Dharma, that is disengaging from karma, all the activities. But without karma, the person cannot gain the jnana yogyata, the jnana pakvata, the qualifications which are required for gaining jnanam. Therefore, Pravritti Dharma is, is it's necessary. That is why Pravritti Dharma, Nivritti Dharma, two dharmas are taught for two sets of people. For, for two sets of people, that is, the two committed lifestyles for two sets of people. So by Pravritti Dharma, you come to Nivritti Dharma. From Veda Purva, you come to Veda Anta. From Karma Kanda, you arrive at Jnana Kanda. From Grihastha Ashrama, from Brahmacharya to Grihastha, Grihastha to Vanaprastha, then you arrive at Sannyasa. Otherwise, without preparation, if the person comes to Sannyasa Ashrama, then it will be difficult because he has not gained that Pakvata, Karma Yoga, that homework if he had not done, then Sannyasa would be difficult. That is why the Vedic scheme of life is that 4 ashrama. 3 ashrama meant for Pravritti Dharma, the last ashrama is Nivritti Dharma. These are the points which we discussed. Now the last part of the commentary. And here the Acharya he quotes from Sadhana Panchakam. It's a beautiful Prakarana Grantha, Sadhana Panchakam. There are 5 shlokas. Each shloka has got 8 teachings, 8 Sopana Panchakam, otherwise we call. That is the ladder. So therefore, 40 steps are taught. So in there, the Acharya quotes that Sopana Panchaka. Therefore, sadhaka to start with Ishvararpana Buddhi, that is Ishvararpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi, that is Karma Yoga. By Karma Yoga, the person gains Chitta Shuddhi. Therefore, Pravritti Dharma is recommended, and slowly, having gained Chitta Shuddhi, then he has to withdraw from the Vishaya, completely from Karma, and take to Nivritti Dharma. Therefore, iti Sopana Panchaka Upadishta Ritya, in keeping with the Upadesha of the Sopana Panchaka, that is a Prakarana Grantha, written by Shankara Bhagavatpada, Ishvararpana Buddhya Karma Kurva Nena, that is Karma Yoga. Ishvararpana Buddhi, karma, performing karma for the sake of the Lord. That is why we say Mamapata Samasta Durita Kshadvara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham. When we say Parameshwara Prityartham means this I do it as a karma yoga, not just mere karma. Karmi and karma yogi are different. Karmi performs just karma for gaining the result of the karma. Whereas karma yogi performs karma with the attitude of offering that karma to the Lord. That becomes a worship. What is to be done, he does because it is how the Bhagavan is worshipped by performing what is to be done. Nitya Nimitti karma, all these are to be done. Not only Vedic karma, even Lokika karma also. Performing one's duty is worship of the Lord. Therefore, karma yoga. Chittam shodhayatva, having purified the mind. Vishayebhyaha, from the Vishayas, from the objects, from the sense objects. Virajya, having withdrawn. Therefore, karmabhyaha, having withdrawn from the karma. Karmabhyaha samuparachitavyam iti etad bodhitam. He has to completely withdrawn and take to nivritti dharma. That is sannyasa. That's what is said. That is meant by the word vidvatvam. The shloka asmat vidvatvam param. Kasmat. Vidvatvam param is Vaidika dharma marga parata. Compared to that, what is durlabham is vidvatvam. Vidvatvam is Vedanta Shravanam. That is why when we explained the meaning, I gave the meaning. Vidvatvam means Vedanta Shravanam. Viprata is, if Viprata refer to the Shastra in general, knowledge of the Shastra in general, knowledge of the Veda in general, which includes Karmakanda, mainly Karmakanda and all the Dharma Shastra, etc., not much about Vedanta. Vidvatvam is about Vedanta, Jnanakanda. Therefore, the person comes to Jnanakandam, Vidvatvam, the knowledge of the Veda Anta. That is Param, that is greater. That is, these are all the steps. Observing the Vedika Dharma, the person gains a maturity to arrive at Jnanakanda. And that is indicated by Vidvatvam, the status of being a Vidwan. Vidwan means a knower. That is, the person now arrives at Vedanta. Vidvatvam. Therefore, nivritti dharma vishaye sannyasasya shravanam kuryat. Iti, therefore, sannyasa uttara kalika vedanta vakya shravanajanya aparoksha jnanatvam. Sorry, paroksha jnanatvam vidvatvam. So, vidvatvam is knowledge which is born of shravanam, of the words Vedanta vakya. When Vedanta Vakya after sannyasa. Therefore, Vidvatam we are referring to, you can take Vidvatam to be Vividisha sannyasa. The person having gained Pakvata in the Grastha Ashrama, now is ready for Vedanta Shravam, therefore take to sannyasa Ashrama. And sannyasa Ashrama is completely committed to Vedanta Shravanam. And the Jnanam what he gains, which is Paroksha Jnanam, that is Jagat Karanam Brahma Asti. Jagat Karanam, the one who is the cause of this Jagat, who is that? Ishvara. Ishvaraha Brahma Asti iti, that Jnanam. That is Aparoksha, that is Paroksha Jnanam. That Brahma is myself, that is Aparoksha Jnanam. That doesn't come in the beginning. The beginning is, the knowledge is in the form of some academic information. Why? Because there are doubts with regard to the Pramanam. There are doubts with regard to the Prameya. Prameya meaning the object of knowledge. With regard to the knowledge, there is doubt. With regard to the object of knowledge also, there is doubt. Shastram says Jagat Karanam Brahma. And that Brahma can be known only by Shastram. How can we have Shraddha in Shastram? How can we believe Shastram? That is not easy. To accept Shastram as a Pramanam, surrendering oneself to Shastram is not easy. Because always the mind is very, very reasonable, very rational, very logical, scientific. So, and added to that, whatever knowledge we have gained through science, that because of our approach to things in general by the scientific method, the same thing we apply here and try to understand, that will not work. Because Vedanta is not science, Shastram is not science. There is no connection between science and Shastram. Science also comes under the Pratyakshadi Pramanam. It is contained within Pancha Pramanam. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, Upamana. These five Pramanams. Shastram, that is the words of the Shastram. The words are Pramanam. The words could be Laukika words or Alaukika words, that is Vaidika words. Laukika words, by that you get Laukika Jnanam. But the words of the Veda, by that we get Vaidika Jnanam. Therefore, that is not attainable by that knowledge, not attainable by other means of knowledge. Therefore, to have Shraddha in the Shastram is not easy. To accept Shastram as a Pramanam. Shastre Pramanya Buddhihi, Astikya Buddhihi. That is very difficult unless a person is oriented from the childhood. Or the person must be really committed, must have been completely convinced, understood that Ishvara cannot be arrived at any other pramanam, cannot be arrived at logic. Logical support can be given, but logic cannot prove the existence of the Lord. Logic cannot prove what the Shastram conveys. In fact, we can prove by logic, but logic has limitation. We have to break the logic by another logic. So Shastram is a pramanam. Jagat Karanam Brahma Asti, Shastram is a pramanam. That Brahma Aham Asmi, no other pramanam can convey other than Shastram. Therefore, Vidvattam meaning here, Paroksha Jnanam. Is Jagat Karanam, the cause of Jagat is Ishvara, that Jnanam is Paroksha Jnanam. What is the use of that Paroksha Jnanam? It is, unless it is become Aparoksha, the Paroksha Jnanam is like any other knowledge. Physics knowledge, chemistry knowledge, like that, any other knowledge. It's of no use. Therefore, it has to become Aparoksha. To become Aparoksha, why it doesn't become Aparoksha? Because there are obstacles. Therefore, only what is required, Atmanatma Vivechanam, one has to do Mananam. Mananam is the words of the Shastram have to be again and again. The doubts which are there with regard to the words of the Shastram listened at the time of Shravanam, that should be analyzed by applying logic, not to prove what the Shastram says. Logic is applied not to prove. Logic also in that logic which are given by the Shastram, in keeping with the Shastram, to convince ourselves that what Shastram says is acceptable, to remove the doubts with regard to what the Shastram says, to remove the to remove the refusal to accept Shastram as a pramanam. Therefore, mananam. Then, therefore, mananam, that's a job of samshaya nivritti, that is, and shutartha dridikaranam. What is heard, that is made very firm. Then, svanubhavaha, that is atmanubhuti, anubhuti, that is aparoksha jnanam, that Brahma ahamasmi, that is by nididhyasanam. We call that as anubhuti is Brahma sakshatkaraha, that is by nididhyasanam. That is why Shankara Bhagavad Pada says, Atmanatma Vivechanam Svanubhavaha. Svanubhavaha is Atma Anubhavaha, Svanubhavaha, that is Brahma Sakshatkaraha. Iti. Then after Brahma Sakshatkara, that is Aparoksha Jnanam, that Brahma Aham Asmi, then abiding in that knowledge, that is Jnana Nishta and Jnana Nishtaya Jivan Muktihi. Once you are get that Nishta, then your knowledge is unshakable. Aham Brahma Asmi. Jagat Karanam Brahma Aham Asmi. Therefore, I am not a samsari. That knowledge is unshakable. Therefore, you cannot be bound by samsara. Again, you become free while living. Therefore, Brahmatmana samstitihi. So, Jivan Muktihi. And after the fall of the Shariram, you continue to be Mukta. That is called Videha Mukti. Therefore, the entire Shloka commented and we have read. Now, the last part of the Shloka, the commentary, we have to see. So there are some beautiful points are there. The different stages of spiritual life, spiritual unfoldment is talked about by the Acharya here, the commentator, that we will read. So therefore, Swanubhavaha is Atmanubhavaha, Aparokshanubhuti, Brahma Sakshatkara, Tad Brahma Havamasmi iti Jnanam, that is Aparoksha Jnanam, that Jnanam is steady, unshakable. Therefore, Ataha eva Swanubhavaha iti Uktam, Viparita Bhavana Nivartaka Nididhyasana Abhave, Shabana Maranabhyam Jayamana Anubhavaha Saustavna Ashtute, without making the knowledge firm, ready. No, there is no doubt, there is no viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana is the habitual tendencies. All through my life and the previous Jarma, I have been thinking aham samsari, aham karta and bhokta. That habitual tendency is that is like the asafoetida kept in the box, the smell will not go. Similarly, the samsara smell will not go so easily. Therefore, nididhyasanam, contemplation on the teaching of the Shastram to be done by repeated contemplation, one will gain jnana nishta, the firmness in this knowledge. Therefore, if nididhyasanam is not done, then by shavanam and mananam alone, that atmanubhavaha, the person will not gain atmanubhava. Jayamanaha anubhavaha saushtavam na ashnute. Saushtavam na ashnute, that is the excellence, in the jnanam, the person cannot enjoy the excellency without nididhyasanam. Shavana mananabhyam jayamanaha. By Shavana mananam, jnanam is there. But the jnana phalam in the form of Brahma Sakshatkara, that will not be there. Therefore, nididhyasanam is important. After Shavanam, Mananam, nididhyasanam is important. If the person is an Uttam Adhikari, then Shavana Matrena Jnanam. The person is an Adhikari, then by Shavanam alone, the person gains Jnanam and therefore Moksha. That is in the case of Uttam Adhikari. What about Madhyama Adhikari and Adhama Adhikari? Repeated Shavanam and Mananam and Nididhyasanam is important. Nididhyasanam is what in the Gita elaborately talked about. Nididhyasanam, meditation on Atma, oneself. That is Nididhyasanam. If meditation is done on some Ishta Devata, that is Upasana. If object of meditation is oneself, and that is possible only through the words of the Shastram, then it becomes Nididhyasanam. So without Nididhyasanam, Saushtavam na ashnute. Therefore, nididhyasanam is important. That is why Acharya Swanubhavaha iti he says. Then Brahmatmana, by that Brahmatmana samsnihi is abidance in that knowledge, that is Nishta, Jnana Nishta. Jnana Nishta is what is Jivan Mukti, the person is free. Once he has got Nishta, Nitaram Sitihi, abidance in the knowledge, then he becomes free. There is nothing which binds him. While living is free, we call Jivan Muktaha. Now here, Acharya, the commentator, he quotes from Yoga Vasishta. He quotes the technical terms which are given in the Yoga Vasishta, and the footnote is given, it is explained very in detail. Yetena Shubhecha Vicharana Tanumanasa Sattva Pattischeti Jnana Bhumika Chatushtayam Katitam Asi Asamsaktihi Padartha Bhavana Turyaha Cha Brahmatmana Samstitihi Muktihi Tiyatra Samstita Shabdena Vasanakshaya Manonasha Sahakrita Svanubhava Bodhakena Vyajitaha. What do we understand? All these are technical terms. Therefore, we need to know what is this Sapta Bhumika, Jnana Bhumika, Sapta Jnana Bhumika. What is this Jnana Bhumika? It takes some time to discuss on that. We'll try to do today complete. Jnana Bhumika. Jnana means knowledge. What knowledge? Spiritual knowledge. Bhumika means level, stage. So Jnanam, knowledge, Bhumika stage, Jnana Bhumika levels of knowledge, stages of knowledge, Sapta, and there's a 7 in number. So this Sapta Jnana Bhumika is mentioned elaborately by Yoga Vasishta. Yoga Vasishta is otherwise called Jnana. Vasishta is it's a work of Valmiki Rishi. It is voluminous. It has got 32,000 shlokas. 32,000, more than even Valmiki Ramayana. So Valmiki had written Yoga Vasishta, otherwise called Jnana Vasishta, which is in the form of dialogue between Vasishta and Rama. Rama the Shishya, Vasishta the Guru. This being a very voluminous work that has been condensed into a Lagu Vasishta, Lagu Yoga Vasishta, which has got only 6,000 shlokas, 6,000, not 600, 6,000. But itself is a very big. That also further shortened Lagutara Yoga Vasishta, which has got 1,000 shlokas. 1,000 shlokas is possible, studying is possible. The Gita, it has got 700 shlokas. Devi Mahatmyam around 500, 547 shlokas. So studying is possible. That Lagutara Yoga Vasishta. So in that Lagu Vasishta, it is mentioned, the Sapta Bhumika, about Sapta Bhumika, it is mentioned. So Sapta Jnana Bhumika, the 7 levels of spiritual unfoldment, the 7 levels, spiritual progress, 7 levels. So the first level is, the first one is called Shubhecha. Shubhecha is the first level. Shubhecha. Next is Vicharana, second level. Third level Tanumanasa. Fourth one Sattvapatti. Then Asam Shaktihi, that is the fifth one. Padartha Bhavana, Padartha Bhavini, that is the next level. Then Turyaga, the 7th level. So each level is defined in the Shastra. In Yoga Vasishta, it is defined. Shubha Icha Shubhecha. Shubha Icha Shubhecha Gunasandhi. That is, a person takes a resolution, auspicious resolution, Shubha. Mangala Icha, desire. So Mangala Icha, auspicious resolution. That is the first level, first stage of spiritual life. What is that? It is defined by the Shloka footnote. You can see one. Stita Kimmudaye Vaspi Prakshe Prekshogam Shastra Sajjanaihi Vairagya Puramicheti Shubhechetyuchyate Budhaihi. This is the first level, Shubha Icha, which is given, defined in the form of a shloka. Stitihi kim muda evasmi. Why do I live like a mudaha, a person who is deluded? Mudaha is deluded, not murkaha. Why I lead such a deluded life? Why am I a deluded being? Aham prekshe shastra sajjanaihi. Let me understand with the study of the Shastram and with association with the good people. Vairagya Puramicheti Shubhecha iti uchate budaihi. This icha, this desire, which is preceded by vairagyam, dispassion, strong dispassion. That is called Shubha Icha by Budaihi. It is called by the name Shubha Icha. That is, the person understands the or overwhelmed by the sense of the purposelessness. What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of just engaging in worldly pursuit, material life? So therefore, he raises all these fundamental questions in his mind. What am I doing this? What will I gain by artha, kama? Why am I not having peace of mind? Why am I restless? Why do I run here and there? What is that finally I'm seeking in life? So therefore, because of this self-introspection, there arises a desire. I want to get out from all this nonsense. I want to get out from all these things, and that is possible only by the Shastram and association with the Mahatmas, Sajjana. Therefore, he becomes a mumukshu. Therefore, he becomes a mumukshu, the one who has got desire for moksha, freedom. I want to be free. He understands first that he is bandaha. I am bound. And now he asks for the freedom. He desires for the freedom. That is the first stage of spiritual life. First stage in one's spiritual journey. That is called Shubha Icha, auspicious. Icha is desire. This Icha, Shubha Icha doesn't come immediately. It comes for a period of time. Sometimes it may take a janmas also, because one has to understand the purposelessness of this material, only material life. So, and therefore, material, the understanding, and it's backed up by Vairagya. Not only Vairagya, Vairagya implies Viveka, therefore Viveka, Vairagya, all these things. Means the person must have done some vichara. What is Nitya, what is Anitya? Going behind Anitya, that will not give what I want in life. So having understood the purposeness in pursuing the Anitya Vastu in life, that he wants to pursue Nitya, therefore he takes the first step. That is called Shubha Icha Mumukshu. The person becomes a Mumukshu, wants to know the truth. That is Shubha Icha. Next stage, next level, the spiritual journey is Vicharana. So the next stage is Vicharana. Vicharana means reflection. It is defined technically. Shastra Sajjana Samparka Vairagyabhyasa Purvakam Sadachara Pravrittirya Prochyate Sa Vicharana. Vicharana means inquiry. Inquiry into the tattvam, the truth. How do you do the inquiry? Who am I? Who am I? The inquiry, how will you do without Shastram? Who am I? Who am I? We keep on saying that who am I will become a japa only. You cannot arrive at the truth of who am I without Shastram. Without Shastram, without Sangha with the Sajjana, and backed up by Vairagya, etc., Vairagya Abhyasa Purvakam, it is not possible. So therefore, Vicharana, inquiry, that is, inquiry cannot be done independently. It requires Shastram. Shastram, we cannot study independently, because the words of the Shastram have to be interpreted. Otherwise, you will understand the Shastram in your own way. Whatever the orientation you have got in life, that with that you try to align Shastram also. That may not be the teaching of the Shastram, Tatparya of the Shastram. Therefore, since commitment is required for studying, for Swadhyaya, and that too only from the Guru, therefore, Guru Upasadanam Tadvitti Pradipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. Therefore, you have to approach the Guru, observing the protocol as given in the Shastram. Samit Panihi, taking Samit in one's hand. That shows the readiness on the part of the student to receive the teaching, like the dry twigs catches fire immediately. Similarly, the student also approaches teacher with the twigs in his hand, conveying that he is also ready like the dry twigs for catching the fire of knowledge. Therefore, approaches a guru, do Guru Seva, then he gets knowledge. How? By Shravanam. By listening. That Guru teaches, the Shishya does listening. Listening followed by, that is Shravanam followed by Mananam. This is the second stage of life. Therefore, Vichara means, it is what Vichara is. Atma Vichara is Shravanam and Mananam. That is the second stage of life, spiritual journey. Second stage of spiritual journey. First one is auspicious resolve. You take a firm resolve that what I want is only moksha. Therefore, that stage you become a mumukshu. Second stage, and moksha is possible only by knowing. Therefore, you become a jignasu. For mumukshu, you become a jignasu, and knowledge is not possible without Shastram and the Guru. Therefore, you approach the Guru and commit yourself to the study of Shastram, that is, listening to the Shastram as unfolded by the teacher who comes in the tradition. That forms the second stage of spiritual life. Therefore, Shavanam and Mananam, that is what is indicated by the word Vicharana, the second stage of spiritual journey. Then, after Shavanam and Mananam, what is the next one? Tanu, Manasa. Manas is mind. Tanu is thin. Tanu Manasa means you make your mind very thin. How will you make your mind very thin? It's not physical thinning, it is subtlety of the mind. And that is also defined. The footnote you can see. Vicharana shubhechabhyam indriyateshu raktata yatra sa tanuta meti prochyate tanumanasi. Tanumanasi or tanumanasa. Both readings are there. The subtlety of the mind, the thinness, attenuation of the mind is that is gained. How? By the vairagya, which comes because of the due to the previous two stages, vicharana and shubhaicha and vicharana, the person, the mind of the person becomes very subtle, becomes sensitive. In other words, sensitive. There is no more unwanted distractions in the mind. The person is committed and he commits himself to the contemplation of the Atma. That is Nididhyasanam. That is the third stage. So Tanumanasa, the third stage of spiritual journey is Nididhyasanam. And through Nididhyasanam, that is meditation. Meditation is not possible unless the mind becomes subtle. Because the object of meditation is you, Atma. Therefore, the mind also has to become subtle, sensitive, subtle. The mind has to be subtle, means it has to be free from engage in gross objects. Not physically, even at the level of the mind. If the mind is engaged in thinking gross sense objects, then now the mind can be focused on the object of meditation. Not possible. And here the object of meditation is you. Therefore, the mind has to become more subtle. So the subtlety, that is the stage where the person, the sadhaka, practices nididhyasanam, and by nididhyasanam, he gains savikalpa samadhi. Nididhyasanam is meditation. In the meditation, there is a vikalpa. That is, there is a meditator, dhyata, there is meditation, dhyanam, and there is object of meditation, dhyaya. Dhyata, dhyanam, dhyaya, three things are the Triputi Bheda. So the person, the dhyata, the meditator is aware of the object of meditation. And he has gained certain focus on the object of meditation. But it is savikalpa, because there is division. Dhyata, dhyanam, dhyaya, iti, the divisions are there. So that is savikalpa samadhi. Savikalpa samadhi, in fact, we saw in Vedanta Sara. Vedanta Sara, Savikalpa Samadhi. What is Savikalpa Samadhi? Tatra Savikalpo Nama Jnatri Jnanadi Vikalpa Laya Anapekshya Advitiya Vastuni Tadakara Akarita Akaritayaha Chitta Vrittehe Avasthanam. That is, Savikalpa Samadhi is that Samadhi, absorption. Samadhi meaning absorption. Is that absorption where the mind of the meditator, the jnata, takes the form of akara of Brahma. That is the object of meditation. But with the awareness that jnata, that is the meditator, object of meditation, and dhyanam is aware of knowledge and the object of knowledge. Three things will be there. The three things will not resolve into one, into the meditator. The meditator, the knower, is aware of the object of knowledge, and therefore there is knowledge. But the mind has taken the form of the object of meditation, which is Brahma. So this is explained with an example. In fact, in Vedanta Sara we saw. Tada mridmaya gajadi bhane api mridbhana mridbhanavat dvaita bhane api advaitam vastu bhasate. Like you see an elephant made of clay. The clay elephant, but it is so real for you. The elephant, the form is the way the maker has created the elephant. It looks so real, but you are aware of that it is not real. It is made of clay. Therefore, you see the elephant, and you also know that it is the clay. The knowledge of the clay is also present. Therefore, there is a division in spite of you see the elephant, you are aware of the clay also. You are aware of the clay also. So knowledge of the elephant and knowledge of the clay both are present. Similarly also in Savikalpa Samadhi, there is knowledge of the knower, known, and the knowledge. The three differences. Vikalpa is present in Savikalpa Samadhi. So therefore the third stage, Tanumanasi, refers to Nididhyasanam and Savikalpa Samadhi. These three stages, in the language of Yoga Vasishta, they are the Acharya, that is the author, the Valmiki. He says this is the Jagrat Avastha. Compare this to the Jagrat Avastha of the individual. As individual goes through three avasthas. One is waking up state. Other one, Swapna Avastha. Then Sushupti Avastha. So three stages. And deep sleep state, Sushupti Avastha. So therefore here he compares the first three stages to here, the Jagrat Avastha. Jagrat. So these are the first three stages. So which Shubha Icha, Tanumana, Vicharana, Tanumanasa. Then from the fourth stage onwards, after Savikalpa Samadhi, what is the next level? Next level is the person is absorbed in the object of meditation without the awareness of the knower. Knower is also not aware. The knower not aware of the knower, that is himself, and also the known. And therefore there is no knower-known relationship also. Therefore, there is the individuality is dissolved. That is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is indicated by the word Sattvapattihi. From that stage onwards starts Jivan Mukti. The person becomes free, Jnana Nishta, and therefore Jivan Mukti. From fourth stage onwards, the life of the spiritual journey of the sadhaka, the first three stages are the sadhanam. The resultant of the sadhanam is experienced in the form of the next four stages, Sattvapattihi, Asamsaktihi, Padartha Bhavana, and Turyaha. These four stages, the person is free. But there are differences in the expression of the freedom, but not in terms of knowledge. Sattvapattihi, Asamsaktihi, Padartha Bhavana, Turyagha, these four stages, at these four stages, the fourth stage, fifth stage, sixth and seventh stage, that the person is free. He is free from bandha, free from samsara. He has become muktaha. Mukti is common for them. There is no difference in terms of the knowledge, but there is difference in terms of the expression of the knowledge. In terms of expression of the knowledge, there is difference. In terms of jnanam, there is no difference. They are jnanis only. At the first three stage, the person is a sadhaka. Then he becomes a siddha. From fourth stage onwards, becomes siddha purusha. Jivan muktaha. Only difference is Sattvapatti, the next level is Asamsakti, another bigger level, higher level. Compared to that, Padartha Bhavana is higher level and Turyagha is highest level. These levels, the gradation of levels, not in terms of Jnanam, in terms of the expression of the Jnanam. Sattvapattihi, gaining that stage itself, the person becomes free. Jivan muktaha. Then asamsaktihi padartha bhavana turyaha is the expression, difference in the expression of this jnanam. So fourth stage onwards, what are they? We require some time to discuss. That we will see in the next class. So 3 stages we have discussed. Please remember, Shubha Icha is the person is a mumukshu. From mumukshu, he becomes a jignasu. The next stage, vicharana, there he approaches a teacher and commits himself to the study of the shastram, that is Shravanam and Mananam, that is what is indicated by the word, by the second stage, that is vicharana. Next stage is nididhyasanam, followed by samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, tanumanasa. Next comes absorption in the knowledge, that is nirvikalpa samadhi, sattvapattihi, and further gradation in the expression knowledge in the form of asam saktihi, padartha bhavana, and turyaga. The 4 stages we will discuss in the next class. Please remember this so that we can discuss from the 4th stage in the next class. We don't have to repeat. We'll stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಗುರುಜಿ.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣ್ಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಶರಣ್ಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಜಿ.